Hi there, my name is Petrus Naoma and I am a graphic designer and web developer. I am from Namibia and Namibia is in Africa, so yeah. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can create your own CV design using Inkscape, which is a free vector program. So most of you have probably heard of Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop. Well, Inkscape is a vector program which is very similar to Adobe Illustrator. So it will allow you to create vectors which are basically designs like business cards, brochures, letterheads, billboards. Well, think of it as anything which can size to a super large size without losing any quality. And Inkscape is free, so you can use it from the get-go, and it's quite easy to get around with. Okay, so as a general rule of thumb, I like to have my design well layered out because this becomes much neater for me to edit as well as to remember any maintenance changes which I need to make off in the future. So with that being said, I am going to create the different layers which I'm going to use and place the content in. Okay, then let me quickly create the layers. Remember that you can name these anything which you want. Okay, now I'm going to change up my voice a little bit. So let's go down to our background layer, which is the BG layer, which is at the bottom. So up here, I have opened an A4 document, so we can go on to start editing. Apart from that, I want you to check that you go to this panel over here at the bottom and make sure you have your toggle snapping to page borders set. Also, toggle snapping to grids and toggle snapping to grid lines. This will be important in the future because we'll be creating grids for the design. So let's go on with it then. So you can create a grid by just clicking on the left side of the horizontal of the vertical bar, and then you push it right over there. So I basically want to create a three-piece grid. It's not going to be equal, just to make the design a little bit interesting. Then scroll down here, scroll down here. I want something like this roughly. Okay, so that is set. So in the background layer, and the reason why I'm using a vector design app is this. Check it out. So get over to your tools over here. This is where you find your tools, and click this pen icon tool or the Bezier curves. Okay, once you click on it, then you go in the edge over there, snap in the edge over there. I'm gonna make a little curve just by dragging out. I am using a a touchpad by the way, but if you're using a graphic tablet or a mouse, it's basically still the same process. And then I'm gonna click over there. That means the shape is closed. Okay, then over down here is where you search for your color palettes, and if you go, I think that for this design I am gonna use this blue over there. Perfect. Now if you want to find how you can change your colors in a simple easy way, there is what we call this little guy, fill and stroke. So when you click on him, you can change the color of your fill according to this triangle. So the fill is the color which is in the shape, and then the stroke paint is, let me zoom in so you can see, the stroke is the outline. So we are going to remove the stroke with no paint. Perfect. Okay, after that I'm going back to my layers, which is this icon over, there you go, this icon over here. And just on top of BG, I realized that since it's a CV design, let's use like layers which describe the details which the CV will contain. So on top of background, my apologies, on top of BG assets 2, I'm gonna add a layer called name. So this is where the name and surname will go. Cool. So after that, just hover over to this icon which is called create and edit text documents. You click on it, and I want my name to be displayed like right here. Once you click on it, then you can type your name, in this case pictures. Okay, cool. So you see that the text goes over the boundary line, so I'm just going to click the select and transform tool over here, and then I'm going to position that right where I want it to be, which is round about here. Okay, you can then click the text tool again if you want to edit the font. Well, since I am a designer, I have my own custom fonts, but I guess that's for another tutorial where I'll teach you how to create, how to import your own custom fonts from Google, for instance. But for this one, I'm going to use Poppins. For non-designers, you won't likely have this, but you can also use another font just for the sake of the tutorial. Okay. Okay, cool. So Poppins, and then I'm going to make my name white. Okay, you see that the text is too thin. So what you can do is that you can go over to this panel over here, which is called font style. You click on it, and then we're gonna go for a bolder version of that. Looks lovely. Then just relocate this by clicking on it and then moving it slightly. Okay, so what I like to do just to remove the ambiguity or to remove the confusion is that sometimes you have HRs who will not appreciate how creative you are being. So just to guide them on how your design works, you can press control sorry, no shortcuts for now. Okay, so you're gonna right click and then you say duplicate. Once you duplicate, hold your control button, which will allow you to move the text like in 90 degrees without you losing control of it. Cool. So hold control button and you hover it right over there, and then we'll give this a description of name and surname, and we'll make this text different. In my case, I'll choose railway. Again, you might not have this as a non-designer, but you can download it or Google search. You'll find it quite interesting to learn on the go. Then we'll just make this 18. So name and surname, so Beatrice Naoma. And then what I like to do again, you can click on this part, then you say duplicate, hold control, then you move it right underneath it over there. Perfect. And then I'm going to put my role of profession as graphic designer. I'm gonna put it right there. Then I'm just gonna increase the text to 28. Okay, this is the area where you increase the text. Then I just move the text downwards a little bit. You know what? Altogether, I'm gonna move it to the right. I just think it looks more exotic like that. Okay, and if you want alignment, you can use a guide just to make sure that you are doing neat work. Okay. Okay, cool. So far, that's what we have, and it's looking pretty good. Not bad at all. Okay, awesome. So we have the name section, and this is the winner when you design with layers. Once I click on this visibility or hide icon, you will see that all the content in the names folder disappears. So this is very useful in case you're looking for the names or you want to change something. Okay, cool. So I have the name up here. Now I want to put all the other details here. So basically I'm going to create a kind of grid or a rectangle, and to do that you go over here to this tool. It's called the create rectangles. You click on that little guy over there and you bring him to the corner. So you see, because we enabled our, let me just quickly show you, because we, oh sorry, let's delete this, ignore that. Because we clicked on this, it means that if I go to the corners, it will automatically snap, and then I can draw whichever assets I want, which is a pretty neat feature. Okay, so I want us to go down to BG assets, and in BG assets, background assets, we are going to create a rectangle, yada 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 yada, like this, and we are going to change the color to still something blue. Again, you can use anything which you prefer. Yeah, let's use this guy. Then going to reduce him just a little bit. I know it looks kind of quirky right now, but I'll show you why this is awesome. So you see that it kind of looks like, because we drew the rectangle in BG assets, which is the layer above background, the rectangle will be above this overlay curve which we created. So I want you to press to right click, then you go to cut, then you go to background. Once you're in background, you then say paste. Okay, so it still looks like nothing has happened, right? This is where the magic happens. So we go down to this icon here, which allows you to lower a layer or lower an asset. So as you can see that now we have this control bar which is under that wave which we desire to have over there. Okay, that's cool. Now, still in name, for those of you who are interested, we're gonna click on the circle, and then we're going to hold control while you draw the circle so that it's a perfect circle. Okay, then you just position it over there, and I will make the circle white just for to remember what that was for. Okay, so now, okay, that is set. Now we are going to put the nitty-gritty details. So I'm going to create a layer above name, which is just press the plus button, and I'm gonna put details. What type of details? Let's just call it details. Okay, details sidebar. Good. You can name this anything you want, by the way. There's no convention to it or any strict rules about it. Okay, cool. So now what we want is that on this details layer, this is where we are going to put, on the sidebar particularly, we are going to click on the text tool, and then we're going to say, we'll call it that, just details. Details. Okay. Now, for consistency's sake, I always advise that you just use 2 fonts. If you go over 3, it will look like, okay, what happened over here? That's what people will ask. So just use 2 fonts to keep the details like consistent. So we have details over here in this detail sidebar, and then what we're gonna do is that we are going to, okay, just bear with me, I'm going to look for my grid. Let's see if I can find him on time. Oh yeah, view. We're going to view, and then we're going to choose grid. Let's see, zoom, orientation, display mode, split mode. Nope, exactly, page grid. Click on that, and then you can see that you will have a grid all over your design. This is very useful if you want to have like to help yourself with the alignment part. Okay, so then under details, what we're gonna do is that we're gonna click on text, and then zoom in right over there, just on this underneath first line exactly. We're gonna put DOB, which is date of birth. Then we change the font over here, and for this sake we're gonna make it Poppins, and we're gonna make this bold and reduce the font size to like 16, because bear in mind that normally when you're designing the plain type boring CVs, the font is 11, and then the font is 11, and then the normal body text is like 12. No, sorry, the main text is like 11, and then the headings are maybe 12 or 14. But because of this, you'll find this type of CV design, we have more space to move elements around, so we can save space as well as like have more content on the same space while controlling the alignment. Okay, cool. So then we're just gonna press duplicate, I want us to duplicate this date of birth, and then while pressing Control, you just shift it down slightly. We want it to be here, okay? Then click on your text icon, which is over here. Double click that guy, and we're gonna change it over to Calibri. I'm sure all of you have Calibri. Calibri and normal. Cool. So the date of birth is going to be, in my case, 13 January 2000. Okay, cool. Now, this is the magic of layers again. Since I already have date of birth and 13 January, and we love the spacing of that, what we're going to do is that we're just going to highlight this. After we've highlighted it, we then we group it by pressing on group, and then we duplicate it. Now I'm going to show you a more complex version of the layers panel. We are going over to what we call the objects panel. You can find the objects panel by clicking on objects, then go to objects, or this icon. Okay, so you can see that in detailed sidebar you can now see that, oh, we have this going on. So let me just show you how this works. So we have detailed, which is this group which was created. We call it date of birth. We have the date of birth. Okay, and sorry, my apologies, this text which you are seeing is the details. Okay, now we are going to duplicate this by going to duplicate, and then while holding Control, you just shift it down slightly over here. Okay, then we're going to change this to place of birth. Okay, for some of you these details might not be necessary, but it's just the context. You can change the data according to what you want. Then we're going to group this, then we call it place of birth. Just shift it down slightly, then duplicate this again, duplicate it, and then you move it down. For those of you who are concerned about alignment, I will show you a nifty trick after this. So we put nationalism. In our case here, it will be Namibia. Boom shakalaka. Okay, awesome. So we have this over here, and we changed the name of this layer to nationality. Oh, nationality, sorry, not nationalism. In Namibia we had our Heroes Day on the 26th, so that's why I'm thinking of nationalism. Nationality, and then for other people this might be the social security number, but out here we just say, but out here I just mean Namibia we use what we call the ID number. Okay, which is important to have ID number. We're just gonna put a random one. I don't know if that exists. It shouldn't, I hope. Okay, then after that, what else is important? Okay, cool. Let us put the marital status. So as you can see, over here you can see the shortcut for you to duplicate. In my case it's Control D, so instead of like having to right click and then look for this, I can just press Control D, and that will make my life much more easier. Okay, so, oh wait, something's happening here. Place of birth, nationality has two. Why is that? Okay, just shift it up there. Okay, just to make sure that this is like on the same edge, I'm gonna put a guide over there. Okay, something fishy happened here. Oh, okay, I guess it's just a convention. Don't worry about this. It's not really a problem. It's just because we're copying and pasting. So the naming layer looks weird. So call this ID number. And then relationship status. So if the person is married, if they are, you know, duplicate that again while holding control, move it downwards like that, and then go to relationship status, and then this will be married. Okay, so this is how our CV design looks like from the top. Now let's get back in there. Okay, then there's of course those other details like the contact number, the email and whatnot. So for this design, we are going to put that right over here instead of in that bar. Okay, so now you see that this is the names layer. Just above names, we'll add a layer called contact details. Okay, cool. So in contact details, we are going to click there. We'll say, okay, let's do this. We'll just say +264. Oh, and please, when you are doing numbers, it's always nice to group them instead of just typing out the whole number, because when a person is reading the number on the CV, it's much more easier to copy down. So say, for instance, 081, after a code, put a space, then 888, and then another space for the last 4 digits. It's a better user experience for whoever has to read or copy the information, because it gives like a visual order to the eye. Okay, thank you. So let me just see, what font was this which we used for the body text? 16. Okay, click on that, highlight it, change it to 16, then becomes that small little guy. Cool. Make the small little guy white, then you shift it up. Now you duplicate this, duplicate the number, and then shift it over here. Going to put the email address, okay, and change the name of this to email so that like we don't get lost later on, and then change this to cell phone. Okay, so yeah, there is no wrong or right way to go about this. Maybe there seem to be like specific credentials which you need to order, for instance the information which you need to include, but you can change that according to where you are from. For the purpose of this tutorial is just to give you a hang of how to use the tools and how to get the desired design which you want to create. Okay, cool. So we're gonna make these bolder. Oh, forgot. So just for interest's sake, we'll make these bolder. And add descriptive text below just to, oh, you know what, we're going to include icons. So you can download some pretty nice icons off from the internet. There's a site called uixwing.com. I will put the link in the description below. Okay, and then you can paste them like next to the contact details, but for this tutorial sake I am going to use what we call symbols. And mine will not be configured like yours since I actually customized it. So you can copy and paste little icons, PNG icons from the internet, or SVG icons. But in this case, I've already imported mine into Inkscape. That's another tutorial if you're interested in how you can do this as well. Then let me just choose ion icons. While mine are loading, I want this for the contact. Import it, put it right over here, then make it white. What I love about Inkscape, since it's open source, there's a huge community of developers who are constantly working to improve it, and it's for free. So if you can make a donation onto their site, that would be really cool. Apart from that, it also allows you, if you are more advanced, you can like program your own features into it, and that's pretty cool if you want to like fly immediately without much stress. I'm going to add this guy over here. Okay, because it's on the grid, just lower it, then make it white. Yes, and change the spacing by holding control so that it looks neat. Then zooming back in. Okay, I would feel guilty if I do not do this. I'm going to add the residential address as well. Residential address 870 Mundesa, I guess. Mundesa Swakopmund. And also the postal code. So wait, let me not forget to rename this. This one is residential address. Then this one is the relationship status. Okay, cool. Now we're talking. And also the postal address. Yeah, if not, why not? Oh yeah, and if you make a mistake all of a sudden, there's always the classic Control Z, Control Z, and then just to undo your last action. Okay. I'm holding Control. I already duplicated. Did I? Control Z. This guy is moving too much. If you want to lock a layer so that it doesn't move around, you just press on this little icon over there. So this will lock the BG layer. Okay. Perfect. So now, even if this rectangle will not move around as much. So residential address, I'm going to, too many of those. You can delete a layer by right clicking and you say delete. Right click, delete. Okay, then duplicate. Then move this down. And then change this over to postal address. Perfect. So we're going to name this private box, private bag 2385 Vineta Soccermund. Okay, this is the interesting part. You see that this text like goes over this boundary? So you can fix that by going onto this little icon here, then you click it. This will allow you to set the width of the text box, like where it can end. So in this case, I am making it acceptable to end right at this zone, and then the text will go over there. Pretty interesting shortcuts to use if like on the fly. Okay, awesome. So let's just see how our CV design looks so far. Remove the page grid. If you want, you can also remove the snap, the guides. Let me see. Yeah, this is how it looks so far. Not bad for your first CV, huh? Okay, but we need those guys back. We also need the page grid back. Okay, cool. So after details, we can now go back to the layers. I just want to show you how it looks so far. Go to the layers panel. Now you see that if I hide the details, only the details disappear and this over here remains, which is pretty awesome, right? Yeah, cool. So now, what other details do we want to include? Let me just take a moment to think. This is a perfect time to play elevator music. Okay, elevator music break over. So now we're gonna click. So since we already have this perfect alignment, the sizes and whatnot, instead of having to retype this, say for instance, all you have to do is that I want these details. Okay, and I want to create something like the languages which I speak. So go to the plus icon, then you say languages, then you add. So since this details is already the perfect size, I just press control. Wait, how is it? Oh yeah, I remember. So since this details is the perfect size, you press control, press alt, and press shift, and then move. Oh, that was a bug there. Okay, press control and press alt, press control and press shift. Ow. Okay, trick gone wrong. Either ways, we can just duplicate this again. Duplicate. While holding control, you can see that we have this perfect alignment along the y-axis, which makes our life so much easier, right? Of course it does. And then we will change this to languages. Okay, so we see that we have our font text is too big, so you can either increase the width of the rectangle, but for this sake we're just going to reduce this to 36 pixels. Also this guy to 36 pixels, just to maintain that visual design hierarchy. Okay, so now you notice that we have a problem that the padding or the spacing between the left side of languages and the right side of languages isn't quite cool. So we're just going to unlock that background layer, click on the rectangle and increase it a bit. Okay, that makes for a better visual presentation. Okay, now for languages, this is the cool trick again. So you see that this is in the details sidebar. So what we're going to do is that we're going to cut it out with the scissors. This is the scissors icon to cut. Go to languages, and then this is what I want to show you. When you want to paste a particular object like in a specific, like in the same position, you go right over to edit, then you say edit paste in place, and the shortcut is Control Alt V. So paste in place will paste exactly on the same position, but in this case it will be in the languages panel. We cool? We up to speed? Awesome, you're awesome. Cool. So now we want to represent the skill in the language according to a numbers type of guide. So if you are very good with Portuguese, you can say Portuguese 5. If you're good with French, you can say French 3. Or you could have either chosen to be very straightforward and say that the languages will be, you just write conversational English, fluent Portuguese, whatnot. The design is completely up to you. The style is up to you, as well as the conventions of your country. It differs from place to place. So since I don't want to retype this guy particularly, I'm just gonna press Ctrl C or copy, go to languages, and then I'm going to paste in place. Then hold my control button and drag this down right over here. Perfect. Awesome. Give yourself a pat on the back. And then we're gonna call this English. Oh, my caps lock is on. Boom shakalaka. English. Okay, English. And then this is a bit broken. So we'll go back to objects. Let's see what's going on. I see. This is English. and then we're going to delete this part over here. Then we're going to use a numbering system instead. So you zoom in a bit, then while holding shift, press on the ellipsis button. While holding control, press on the ellipsis button, and you will have a perfect circle. So let's just increase the size. You can press V or press on this icon, and then you go over to this corner over here, then you increase that size. Okay, yeah, we're happy with that. Then if you want to move like in 90 degrees, up, down, left, right, hold control while you move, then you just position that over there. And then we're gonna say control D. This is to duplicate it. We want a scale of 1 to 5. Control D again, move, control D, move, and control D, move. Okay, so this is the part which I was talking about, alignment. You see that these circles, they are not well aligned. So what you have to do is that you just, okay, let's quickly lock the background layer, it's locked. Then click on these circles, and then go to what we call the align option. Align and distribute, or you can go to object, then you choose align and distribute, and then we want it to distribute, like to make the horizontal gaps equal. There we go. So we see that we have perfection in our midst. Ha ha ha. Cool. So now let's go back to the object panel. Now since this is like perfection on its own, what did we do there? Control Z to remove that mistake. Oh no, what happened? Really now? Thank you. Now we just duplicate this, then we scroll, move it down. Beautiful, isn't it? Okay, this is too big again, so let's make this like, this is 16. Oh yes, we have to make this calibri. Calibri, yeah, calibri. A bold calibri, and we'll call this Portuguese. Okay, then after that we see that there's a sort of distortion between the text and these little circles over here. So we can fix that by clicking all of them, and the text as well. And then you go to your align and distribute objects, align and distribute, and then there's the option called, let me just see if I can get this right. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Oh yeah, here it is. Center on horizontal axis. So align, center on. No, you didn't. Oh, I see why. So you have to say relative to the selection area, center on horizontal axis. Good girl. Let's see. Also for English, we do the same. Then according to the relative to the selection area, center on horizontal axis. There we go. Just click on Portuguese since we already created it. We duplicate this layer, hold control, shift it down, and then you can just click in there like super fast, like pow pow pow, and then you're in. So we change this over to German, exit quickly, get back out by pressing V, and then we check, okay, this one we change it from Portuguese to German. And then because there are some of you super talented folks out there who can speak like multiple languages, we're just gonna make them 4 so that you're also accommodated. Ooh, I see a mistake there. So German, and then because I'm feeling. Which other language can we choose? Okay, Spanish. Okay, perfect. And then, as usual, we just change the name of this layer to Spanish, the sub-layer Spanish. Okay, so now we see that our alignment is a bit broken, our distribution. So you can just click on all of your languages. You go to align and distribute, and then you choose this little guy. Make vertical gaps between objects equal, and that makes it nice and neat for you. Perfect. So now we can fill this out. So just a little lesson on colors. So when you see this layer, let me see the background layer. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. Boom. Let's just unlock it quickly. When you click on this background layer, this is the color which you have. So you can see that the color associations which you can use according to the triangle. I know there's a formal word for this, the triad colors or something, I just forgot. So you can either choose green, limeish green to complement it nicely, or a type of pinkish, orange, violetish, not violet, but yeah, pinkish, magenta-ish color, type of color to complement this type of blue, so that the colors like have a proper contrast or that they link properly. So then we're gonna choose that. Okay, to fill it, we'll fill it with, let's see, in this case we're gonna break the rules altogether. So we're going to fill with orange, give it a lighter type of vibe. Okay, I'm digging this. Okay, yellow, orange, orange. Yep, that's our winner. Then you can copy the RGB A color from here. So this is the color in RGB. You can either have it in CMYK, which is the format for printing, HSV, forgot what that is, HSL, which is hue saturation layer, RGB, which is red, green, blue. You use RGB especially when you're going to design content which is for mobile displays. But when you're designing content for print display, you have to use CMYK. Very important to note that. Okay, cool. Now, so since we want to copy this color, you can click on this circle. You can either use the technique of pasting in the RGB color value. Okay, we didn't copy it. Let's see. Or we can use the eyedropper tool, which is this little guy, and then click on our color right over there. And as you can see, the circle inherits the color. So for English, we're gonna make ourselves legendary. Yeah, let's make ourselves legendary. No, the accent is cool and all. And then para português, vou usar essa cor. Isso é tão bonita. Sim, vamos utilizar a cor de laranja. E para português falamos do nível 4. Sim, 4th level. So for German, okay. Here we're going to be honest, for my sake I will give that a 1. Sorry. And then for Spanish, because of that romantic flair and its similarity to Portuguese, I will give it a 3. Click on that. Okay, let's just pan out quickly and check how it looks so far. Okay, with something good going over here. Very, very nice. You're doing a great job. Okay, cool. So after that, let's just go back to our layers. So we see that we have languages, we have our details, our contact details are also there, and our CV is looking pretty fly. So now let's just add in, let's see. Okay, what we're gonna do is we are going to add our skills section over here. Not skills, but particularly if you want, you can add your hobbies or you can add your skills, but for this sake we're just going to use this section for hobbies. Okay, so some people would prefer to put hobbies on their CVs. Others would say that, okay, I do not care what you prefer to do in your free time, but then you never know where you're going to be hired, so it's just nice to have it there just in case. So we copy the languages, the title, because it's having a perfect width and the height. We'll go to hobbies, and then we don't just do any ordinary paste, but we paste in place. Okay, that's pretty important. Then hold control, then move it down just like that, and then change the name to hobbies, but make it bold. Cool. So again, for you, you should probably copy and paste the images if you want, but if you are pretty fluent with Inkscape, I already have the symbols which I need in over here, so I can choose the hobbies which I would like. You can also go to Font Awesome. Font Awesome has some really cool icons. I mean, that's what they're built for, so they're super awesome at what they do. So let's see. One of the hobbies will be soccer or football. No, let's not argue. So yes, it's either soccer or football, as some would say. And then let's see. What about tennis? Tennis isn't here. Let's see what icons are available. Okay, tennis is here. Can we just delete this? I think you can also use the ooh, Ionicons. That sounds cool. Ionicons. So in Ionicons, I'm gonna choose computer to or gaming. Gaming is a hobby. They don't have that. Oh, what a shame. Game. Okay, choose that. Boom. What else? Fishing. Fish. They don't have fishing. Horse riding or equitação in Portuguese. Oh, they don't have that. What do you guys have? Let's see what other hobbies exist. Camping? No. This is a violation of normal protocols. Hahaha. Okay, cool. This case, just go to IGA symbols. Okay, these symbols are built into Inkscape, so they should have what we need. All of you should have this. IGA symbols, AIGA symbols. I don't know what that is. I'm not gonna lie. Yay! So let's see. We'll put traveling in our hobbies. What else? Apart from IGA symbols, let's use the default symbols provided by Inkscape. Oh yes, Inkscape also has the United States National Park icons. These are built in by default. Perfect. Yeah, let's just use these all together. You're fired, football. You too are also fired. Boom. So, our hobbies. Cycling. Our hobbies. Golfing. That's pretty exotic. No, let's keep the icon set similar. So this version of golfing, our hobbies, fishing. We have skiing, canoeing, swimming. What else can we add? And of course, how how can we forget camping? Camping is so much fun. It's been ages since I've camped, by the way. Either way, so we add this over there. Don't worry about the size, we'll fix that now. Add that over there. Add that. Then we click on it. So if you want to click on multiple items at the same time, just hold down your shift your shift button, and then you press on the icon. Then hold control to size in an equal manner. In an equal manner, if that makes sense. So yeah, let's do the same here. So because of the guide, you can see that it's relatively easy for us to position the icons, isn't it? Yes, it is. Okay, then we just shrink them down, down, down. Over here I can see that they are nearly the same size, but we are perfectionists, we're designers, we want everything to be exact. So this should be it. Now we have that alignment problem, but no problem. Inkscape comes to the rescue. We go to our alignments, and then we choose this guy. Boom. Make horizontal gaps between objects equal. Ooh, that went horribly wrong. Let's see. What can we use? Let's use distribute. Distribute equidistantly horizontal. Wow, these guys are really making me look bad. Okay, it's fine. Let's see. Let's go for trial and error until we see which one works fine. Is that okay? I hope it's okay. So let's see. Okay, let's just do this. It's I see these aren't the same. Are they the same size? No, they aren't. That's the same size as this. Check this out, compare it. Okay, I buy that. I buy that. Okay, shift them, then make equidistant. Yeah, adjust this option. So no, I actually want to distance them horizontally. Yes, according to the center. Then distance these horizontally according to the center as well. Then let's see if we can get that right. One more time. Nope, that went horribly wrong. Okay, it is what it is. If someone out there knows better, just give us a tip in the comment section. We'll really appreciate that. Cool. So that was for manual alignment. And then, okay, do we prefer to have the icons black? I think the black form looks nice. Yeah. So the problem with this is that you can see that now the contrast is awful because white and this form of orange, they sort of blend in. So normally the way I fix contrast issues is either by choosing a darker color or using a gradient. So in Inkscape, this is the gradient tool. So I just highlight all of those guys and then I just hold on to like that. So you see we have this kind of cool accidental effect. Yeah, we're keeping this. Okay, so we have hobbies, we have language. Ooh, and then always make sure that you watch out for the what we call the padding or the margin on your design. So thanks to the grids, we have these margins set for us already. But at the bottom here, things are looking pretty dangerous. David Guetta, dangerous. So we have that. Okay, we're doing a pretty amazing job. This looks pretty fly. Cindy Crawford fly for all those Jumanji lovers. Yeah. So I like this section over here. So what we're going to do is that we're going to back to our layers. This, remember, is on the BG layer. Okay. So I want us to make this section like a dark gray, a bit of a dark gray, not dark but lightish gray. Let's see which one works. Yes, I want this part to be a bit lightish gray, and then since I drew it in the BG layer, and let's make it like remove the grid since it's disturbing the view right now. Okay, then we move it, press V, which is this tool, so that you get these selection options. So we move this to the bottom. This is move to bottom. Okay, cool. Then once you double click on this curve which we drew, you will get this version of the selector, which is the node selection tool, or this guy over there. Looking good, bro. Okay, then I want to keep this little bump, so I come to this node, I move it up like this. Then I come to this one, move it, click on it, then move it like that. Okay, that looks pretty cute right now. Perfect. So I click on this rectangle, and this is what we're gonna call the about me section, where you add a little description about yourself. I haven't really seen this in many CV designs around here in Namibia, but it's kind of cool if you want to just put your best foot forward, or to make, like, to introduce yourself better with your more custom versions. Yeah. So in this case, we're going to call this section about moi. In Portuguese, sobre mim. Sobre. Nah, cancel that. Cancel that. Yeah. Man, I really need to revise my vocabulary for Portuguese. I'm getting rusty. Okay, now keep it this way. And then in the about me, then we click on the text selection tool. Then you can also highlight. Okay, this is another version of the text selection tool, whereby you can highlight, and then you will have like a text box which is limited as to how far in or out you can type. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're going to type in a little description about ourselves. So again, not really necessary for some parts of the country or some parts of the world, but it's just nice to know how to do it just in case, you know. Yeah. Yeah, sobre mim. Já me esquecia isso. Okay, so I am a hard working fellow. I'm joking, that sounds fun. I am a hard-working, innovative designer with an eye for geometric design. Okay, that is completely made up. Please come up with something more original. If you do, also put it in the comment section. Would love to hear ideas, by the way. Then we make that 16, and it's out there. So what we can do so that it pops out a bit, we can change the font size, and we're going to make it 20. And then you can also change the alignment. Oh, is this called alignment? What is it? Okay, let's call it alignment. Then we say text center, like that. Then put it slightly below, so that we want it to be like in the center of this rectangle, right? So we click the text and this rectangle below. Then we go to alignment, and then we say relative to selection area, center on vertical axis. Okay, that is wonderful. You guys are so awesome. Did I tell you that before? Of course I did. Cool. Now you move this a bit up, just so we keep it over there. Now we're going to put the main reason why this thing is created in the first place, which is the details for your educational experience first and foremost, your education, and then your work experience. So in this case, let's just remove the text layer, since it's pretty, how can I say, redundant, right? Yeah, it's redundant. So on top of about me, we add education. Boom shakalaka. Education, and like we said, just control C from the detail sidebar, click on your educations layer, and then control V to paste. So education will be right over here. And then since it's now on the white side, we just make it black. But no, black is, there's a friend of mine who likes to say that sometimes black and white, the contrast is so deep that it kind of annoys the eyes, right? So what we're going to do is that we're not going to use black per se, but a top of darker gray. Yes. Yes. Mwahahaha, Dorian Gray. Cool. So what I like to do is that if I do not want to waste too much time on positioning, and I know that something feels central already, I just change the alignment from left to right to from the left edge to the center case. So in this case, if I type education, you're already guaranteed that it will just spread out in the center. It's a pretty cool trick to know. Yeah. Just to make sure that this is like centered, we're going to put an invisible rectangle right over here. Then we remove the fill color, and then we click on education, go to align, and then centered selection area. Now you know that education is absolutely centered. Very good job. Keep it up. Now we lock the background layer so that we don't move anything around by accident, because that would be a bummer. Like totally. Click on the education section. Let's just make sure that this is the gray we want. Okay. What we're going to do is that we're just going to copy this over here from the detail sidebar. Go to education, paste, change it to that this gray, 80% gray, 100%, 80%. Okay. Then what we want to do is we want to put it right about here. Let's even put as a margin, a guide. So you click there and then you drag it. So we put a guide according to this apostrophe mark, and then we put it right over there. This looks nice. I don't know, it's not snapping right now, but it's fine. We put it right over there. So since this is already bold, life is already much easier for you. You can just go in there, then you specify that, okay, first we want the higher level education to appear, or secondary school, let's call it that, higher education. You just name it according to what's applicable in your country. So secondary school. Then what I like to do is that I press space twice, 1, 2, then hold shift and a certain button which is having like a stroke, hold it, then press shift twice, papa. Then remove the bold to use a normal version. Oh no. Okay, we just keep the bold. In this case, awesome high school. Then you can put the year when you're at awesome high school. Yeah. Okay, ignore the fact that this guy is 10 years, basically like 10 years was. Okay, 22. You know what? Okay, the numbers do not match up, but because it's like person was born in 2000 and then 10 years later they're in high school, let's pretend they are some kind of a phenomenal prodigy which already graduated from Harvard. From Harvard, and now they've already applied. And Harvard is not even a secondary. Okay, it's completely fictional, so don't mind that. So 13, yada yada yada. Then you can put the subjects which the person was taught. For instance, we can say Afrikaans, mathematics, English, and then some of you will obviously try to put the grades which they may have gotten, which is also okay. It's allowed. It's not illegal. It's up to you. Okay, Portuguese. Okay, so now we do not want we don't want this text to go out of that margin, so we just limit it right over there. Okay, perfect. Then after that, just click on secondary education, duplicate it, move it down, down. And we'll call this university of Shake It Up. Shake It Up Excellence. Then you can put whatsoever major this person did, so BSc, bachelor's in computer science, artificial intelligence. You know, just because Elon Musk's Tesla is about to release a humanoid. So let's make this relevant-ish. Okay, cool. And then So you get the idea basically. So this is the secondary, this is the higher education or university. And then if you have any other educational requirements, you just control D and then you shift it down. And then you type whatsoever, it's up to you. Okay, so we see that we still have enough space and we have so much detail, but we have enough space for us to put all the other factors. So just for fun, let's shift this up here. Oh, the rectangle layer is locked. Unlock it, shift it up there, shift this up. Okay, some of you are more like creative, will prefer to put icons next to the main headings. It's totally up to you. Be creative. Okay, cool. So now we have education. Education is done. Then we go to the work experience. If you want, you can create something like this for 2 pages. So basically you just duplicate this, then when you merge, you can just merge it as one PDF. So let's see. Above education, we add another layer and then we'll call it work experience. Normally, we always prefer to put a work experience like in a time, what do you call it? Not a time loop, but a timeline format. So we just, because life is easy and this is technology and you guys are awesome and you know the shortcuts, what we're going to do is that we're just going to click on education, highlight education, Control C, go to work experience and paste in place. Now watch this. This is why you're awesome. Hold Control and then you shift it down. Boom. Now you do not have to retype all that hard work, but you just highlight it. So you just go to the objects and then you just rename your layers appropriately because the names will reflect from education, you see. So yeah, but because we have energy, and sorry for the video being so long, just wanted to make this as comprehensive as possible for newbies, and so that you can catch up and not feel intimidated by how complex the work looks. It's actually quite fun to do. Okay, then work experience. Okay, I'm going to put Silicon Valley. I love Silicon Valley. I actually hope to go there sometime. Silicon Valley, put Goggle.com. So at Goggle.com, we've been working there while our prodigy is doing very good in life. So God is finished high school in 2010, in 2012, probably 2012. Our guy from Goggle is now a software, not a a software engineer. What else? Software engineer responsible for, what are software engineers responsible for? Responsible for model design and model design in data science. Oh, so we just make him a data scientist then. Oh, data scientist responsible for model design and using Google Cloud to analyze models. Okay, and then for you who have obviously worked in a lot of places, so this is the first job, so you can say gaggle.com or name the job 1, and then from there magic happens. Duplicate, go, duplicate, go, duplicate, go. Then you can put all of your work experiences. Your time is already there. You put your descriptions and then everything looks perfect. You are perfect. You are awesome. And then for us in Namibia, it's a really big deal for you to put references so that people can get back to you and contact you if they like your job. And with this CV, who wouldn't want to hire you, especially if you're graphic designer, you're showing your creativity and your skill. Okay, and then like I said, we copy this by pressing Ctrl C or choosing this guy over here, Ctrl C, go to reference, then go to edit, and then paste in place, paste in place. Then you hold Control, hold, then you move it downwards. Okay, now you can move the entire work experience upwards. You can move the entire work experience upwards, and then you change this over to references. Okay, just for the sake of it, we're going to make the references a tad smaller. Shift them up. And then as you can see, because of this design, you can choose to put 2 references, you can put 3 references, or you can put 4. You are the creative one, you have the power, you know what you want to do with your work. So for this example, just going to highlight from the margin. The margin gives me perfect control. I want this text box to be yay size. I'm just going to put 2 references. I want this text to be yay size. This is going to be 16. This reminds me of Fluffy's joke on Jaeger. Okay, so 16, and then we make it Calibri 16. So change the font size to 16. And then we say Mr. Julius Lemur worked at Gaggle.com manager. You can contact him via jlemur@gaggle.com. Okay, you can change the limit of this much further by doing this, or let's keep it this way, doesn't matter. Okay, actually, and then once you have that set, you can just duplicate it and then you move it over to this side. But as you can see, because of the great design and the layout and how you set all your margins so nicely, you have so much more space, you can put so much more detail, but everything has so much better padding. In other words, there are so much advantages. Joking, that's broken English. There are so many advantages which you can use to manipulate this. So, and then Mrs. Volta Stradom. Mrs. Volta Stradom from microhigh.com. Microhigh.com, HR obviously. We start on just reduce this over there at microhigh.org. And there we have it, folks. We have successfully designed our first CV in Inkscape. Just remove the guides and then you can loll over the creation of your own hands. Not bad. This looks really awesome. It looks really professional and it's super clean. Wonderful. So let's fill that circle over there with a profile picture. Here, just reduce the opacity of the circle so I can see how the image is being positioned. The circle is in name, so Control X to cut it, and then we're going to paste it in images. Control Alt V to paste in place. Okay, now we move the image, we just position it the way we want, then we shrink it in size so that a good portion of the face exists in that. Then good, I think that looks nice. So all we do is that we press shift, click on the circle, press shift, click on the image, right click, and then set clip, and voila, this is how the CV looks. As you can see over here, the name, surname, and graphic designer, the opacity also reduced. So we can set that back by the opacity layer for name reduced. So we can just set that back to 100% now that the picture is well positioned. So once you're done and you're super stoked with your CV design, you go to File, and then you can say Export PNG image, and then you can set the location where you want to export your file by going to Export As. It will give you a graphic user interface, and you can set your locations, and then you press Export once you're done. If it's save as, you scroll, then you say save as PDF document, and then in this case let's save it on desktop, then we call it my awesome PDF, then you say save, and then you set the settings. Very important, make sure your settings are at 300 dots per inch for a crisp printout, PDF 1.5, embed the fonts, or you can convert them to text paths if you want, and then you just press OK. Hello everyone, thank you so much for sticking around to the very end of the video. Now I do apologize for the quality in the sound as well as the pixelation on the video, but I'm trying to improvise. I just used my screen for the recording and then I used my own phone as a microphone. Yeah, I guess my journey as a YouTuber has officially started. So yeah, don't forget to give a like and subscribe. And oh yeah, as a gift to you for this 2022, I'll be giving this exact design away for free. So you can use any way you want. You can redesign it if you want to. But yeah, like again, don't forget to give a like and subscribe. Cheers. See you in the next one. Bye.